Many heroes in this game are very good, and many of them can carry really quite well. But I feel like there are a few in particular that we don't really see way too often. Howdy guys, it's Joe here, and today I want to talk to you guys about the 5 carry heroes that I feel like can carry you quite a few games and can do really well that nobody seems to play. They're still decently meta, they're still decently strong, and some characters that you might want to pick up if you want to win some games. Overall, pretty good. And with that said, they're especially strong when the enemies don't know how to fight against you, which is going to be most cases as people really aren't used to fighting against these characters. Anyways, with that said, let's get started. Reaper is a character that I really do like to talk about. He's pretty strong, he does a lot of damage, he has okay mobility, and he can get around the map and get behind people and burst through people really quickly. Especially when you're getting to the backline and when you can 1 or 2 pop the supports, I feel like that's where you can really shine. It is a little bit unsafe as him, as you do have to make sure that you shoot them while not getting Ana-darted at the same time, and it's a little bit harder than playing somebody like Tracer, but at the same time I feel like you do have other uses as well. You know, popping the back line, doing very well close range against the front line, and of course, beating out a lot of the tanks. Of course, when you're fighting against tanks as Reaper, you destroy these characters. You just go through them so fast, and against everybody but Roadhog, I feel like you have a really great chance to beat them. The thing is, you're going to have to learn how to position yourself, and how to know when to go in. If you're just going in at random times, or just when you feel like it might be okay, you're probably going to end up killing yourself. When you're walking face to face against a lot of the other tanks, it really just doesn't work way too well. And I'm just going to say, if you want to try to carry this guy, try to get hind advantage, wait for the enemy tanks to get distracted, and then go after them, or just go after some of the other people near the front line, and you should be doing really well. Now, Orisa is another person that I feel like is really kind of underrated. A lot of people seem to think that since she does have a lot of abilities similar to other heroes, that she's really bad. And a lot of people think that they seem to be just direct downgrades. Of course, her right click, the thing that grabs people towards it, a lot of people just like, you know, this is just a terrible Zarya ultimate. And a lot of people are like, you know, well, her shield is just really bad Reinhardt shield. And a lot of people think her ult is just not all too great in the first place. But I feel like there is quite a bit that she can actually do that can actually carry quite a few games. First off, being able to be a pretty mobile tank. Now, I feel like a lot of people don't think of that way too much, but what you can often do is throw out an E, and then walk somewhere else, shoot people, put people off the point, maybe get a few kills, and then come back. You don't always have to be 1 inch away from your shield, and I've been seeing this a lot with players that are really good at her. Use your shield as a nice barrier, as somewhere for your teammates to hide behind, but not always for yourself and solely for yourself. As well, I feel like a lot of people don't realize that if you're behind it, you're just pulling more and more damage to that shield, while if you're off to the side a little bit, you know, people like Junkrat will have to focus you instead of the shield, and your teammates can use that quite a bit better. Overall, I'm just going to say that her damage, and just overall her pick potential and care potential, can be pretty good. As far as a tank goes, maybe not quite as much damage as Reinhardt or Roadhog, but still a lot, and of course, against like a Zarya with no charge, you're going to be able to roast through her pretty quickly. If you can happen to learn how to run back and forth through your E as well, it makes it that a lot of characters really can't kill you way too easily. It's kind of awkward, and you can get a lot of headshots and burst through them decently fast. Finally, being able to just combo your right click with other people on your team is something that is extremely important. It's going to be hard to do, and sometimes it may not seem the best, but in a lot of situations, you can just wait for your teammates to go for their moves, and then go for your own, pull people to your right click, and then just kill them from there. Overall, I feel like she's pretty consistent, does pretty high damage, and maybe just a little bit weird to play, but overall, I feel like she can be a good pick and can win you some games. Widowmaker is the person that pretty much everybody knows. If you are a god as Widowmaker, or even just really good, not hitting every headshot, but a lot of them and a lot of body shots, you can carry a lot of games, and I feel like that's pretty general knowledge. She's a character that if you can happen to learn, you can happen to get a lot of headshots with, and you can happen to become good with, you should be able to win pretty well. We have a lot of really good Widowmaker mains, but the thing that I feel about this character is that it's really hard to play her consistently, and it's very hard to play her well all the time. You gotta spend a lot of time with your mouse, a lot of time learning where to be on the map, and a lot of time just playing the character, and it takes a lot more effort than a lot of other characters. With that said, if you do want to put in the effort, I feel like she can be one of the best carry characters, and if you become a god with this character, probably the best one. So, if you want to put in the effort, definitely up to you. It's just all up to you. For Sombra, I honestly thought she was pretty bad for quite a while. I didn't see way too much great gameplay with her. I didn't see people using the hack way too well. I didn't see people using the health packs way too well. And a lot of people wasted their ultimates. And still, I don't often see way too many great Sombras or way too many people playing her in the first place. But just because I don't see them always in my own games doesn't mean I don't know that they can be pretty strong and that it can be a hero that can actually carry quite well. If you can get some really key hacks, especially on people like Reinhardt or even Orisa where you can't put her shield down, you can happen to win your team quite a few team fights. You get a lot of team wipes and get a lot of really nice combos that people really can't counteract because there's no shield. As well with this, you can actually take people out in the backline decently well enough. Most of the time, you want to make sure that you are someone else on your team, or that your team's engaging though, as you can't really do it by yourself, just something you have to kind of think about. You can get to the backline easily, pop your ultimate easily, and get out of the scene easily with your E, so overall I feel like she's pretty good. It is awkward again to play her, and if you haven't played her much in the past, don't think that she's going to be the easiest person to pick up, and we're seeing quite a few really good Sombras getting up there, so you can take her out if you really like the character. And finally, of course, the best character hero is Symmetra. Now that might kind of feel weird, but if you've looked at the play rate and the win rate stats, she has a ridiculous win rate, and she's had it pre-rework, post-rework, all the time. She has such a good win rate, and is just such a strong character when played in the right mind, when played by the right hands, and just one played simply put. A lot of people don't seem to know how to counter her at all, and she can burst through tanks, burst through people in the backline. I guess not really burst, but she can roast straight through them. And of course, the teleporter that almost never dies anymore because the extra shield and the shield gen, they all added to something that is very strong. Especially when you're in defense, you can do quite a bit, but even on offense, you can do okay. And we've seen quite a few Symmetra players that go from the bottom all the way to the top just with this character. She is a character that you have to kind of learn how she plays though, as she's not really like anyone else. I feel like a lot of people just run in there by themselves, hoping they can get some kills, maybe even go in as a team, but run straight through the front line. You kind of have to get not really straight to the back line, but kind of to the side. It's overall kind of awkward. You got to get poked with your right click. You got to make sure you set up 100% correctly, and that you aren't wasting your E at any time. It takes a while to learn, it takes a lot of effort to learn, but if you happen to do it, just the stats show by themselves, she's one of the best characters to learn. So put that in your mind if you want to. And yeah, at least those are my own opinion on the best character heroes that nobody seems to play. Maybe some people will start to play these characters in the future, but I feel like they're very unpopular for one reason or another. But especially people like Reaper and people like Sombra feel like they could have their time to shine if certain buffs happened. And even though that they're very good right now, well, I guess it's just a good time for you to pick them up because no one else is, so no one has good matchup knowledge of these characters, and you should be able to do well simply with that alone, as well as just it being a pretty good character to carry with, and these all being pretty good characters to carry with. Anyways, with that said, as always, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like. Comment down below what you want to see for the next video. If you have any ideas, press the subscribe button if you want to see anything as well. As always, guys, thank you all for watching, and have a wonderful day.